What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. Everybody's having a great day. It is finally freaking Friday. I hope you tune in to our live stream tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, before we have our preseason game tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 o'clock on the Eastern Coast, where I am. And this is the bubble game. This is the last chance for people to impress and to claim their stake to be part of the Dallas Cowboys. I've got a couple of questions here. Here, as we start to think about the 53-man roster, I'm going to say I think the Cowboys will go heavy on the wide receiving core. Okay? And you may say I'm crazy on that one, but see, we've got so many young guys that are, that are so close as far as ability. You know, with Klopper, with Jalen Brooks, Jalen Tolbert, and all that. I think they're going to keep an extra wide receiver. And part of the reason why I say this is, and I'll also preface this as, the Cowboys have been working on the areas that they have had the most issues in the playoffs. And that is dealing with stopping the run. And we, worked on linebackers the way Cowboys do. They don't spend a lot of money. They're not going to pay a lot for this muffler. And also now working on the defensive line. It remains to be seen if we're going to get dividends from that. And of course, also investing in Mike Zimmer. The area where everybody looks at and says, well, the Cowboys' running game is terrible. I hear what you're saying, but here's my point right now. People will think assumptions, okay? What you will think is Tony Pollard, okay? That Tony Pollard was a great back last year. That Tony Pollard, because you're going by what Tony Pollard was the year before. The year before, Tony Pollard was over 5 yards a carry because he was a role player and part-time player and didn't have to run the ball up the middle of the field. Excuse me. Well, I don't know why I'm tired. Run the ball up the middle of the field. Thing is last year when he became the full-time back, he just got you slightly over 1,000 yards. Now, if you take that, that's about what he had the year before. But you take Zeke Elliott off of there, and our rushing yards went down. See, people seem to think that last year that the Cowboys ran the ball great, but they really didn't. We were not a great rushing the football team. You get that, right? We had about 1,600 yards rushing the football, which pales by comparison to where the Cowboys usually have 2,000 plus. But here's the thing that you don't seem to get, though. The Cowboys, with the 14th ranked offensive rushing team, ended up being the number one scoring team, which is by design by Mike McCarthy. Whether you like it or don't like it, Mike McCarthy is not the big, I've got to have 1,000-yard back. In fact, I've done some numbers before in some other videos that pointed out the years where they ran the ball more and were more effective running the football, they were less effective as a team. Going by the Super Bowl year, Mike McCarthy, they had number 3 defense that gave them more opportunities. Aaron Rodgers, I want to say, had 29 TD passes and 11 interceptions. But he had a mix of veterans and young guys at wide receivers. He went 3 deep and tight ends. And what it was there was no dominant one player. We had multiple players to be able to hit. And this is where having more wide receivers is more important than more running backs on this roster. At least if Mike McCarthy is going back to what he looks and says, I won the Super Bowl in Green Bay before Aaron Rodgers became the bad man by being able to spread the ball around. Second thing on this is with them not having CeeDee Lamb done yet, okay? Without CeeDee Lamb's contract being done, you don't know what kind of shape he's going to be able to be when he gets into camp. You don't know if he's going to be ready to play a full game, and it may take a couple of games for him to get the conditioning in. There's being in shape, and then there's football shape, and they're two totally different things. And there's nothing you can do about getting into football shape except actually playing football. So for that reason, I look at it and say they'll carry more wide receivers than what you think. And maybe, I don't know, I don't want to even speculate and say that this is a plan, but it may be. Here's a crazy thought on the CeeDee Lamb situation. The Cowboys have a bunch of players that they don't want to risk. Okay? They don't want to risk losing some of these players. That's where you look and say, Trey Lance is going to be on the 53-man roster because if you put him out there on waivers, somebody's going to snag him just because of the potential of him being a former first-round pick. You can get him for nothing. You may not want to put Cooper Rush on there either because, again, quarterbacks, boom, are guys that you don't want to lose. So we're talking right there, 2 of your 53 spots. Actually, you might as well put that because they're not going to put them on waivers either. So that means you only got 50 spots left. You're going to make the cuts on Tuesday. It might be crazy, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but if they don't have CD signed, they might be able to keep that spot open and keep somebody there and protect them and then get him signed after that window closes. You follow me? You're going to make your cuts on Tuesday. You're going to make your cuts on Tuesday, and then guys got to go past waivers and things that are get signed left and right. If it ends up being that you make your move with CeeDee Lamb later in the week, because the reality is you don't practice on Monday, you're now going to start working on getting your season and stuff together. Tuesday is the player's day off, and Wednesday's when you start working. I don't know that having CD in Wednesday and Thursday is going to make that much of a difference when you have the whole next week to work with. So it may be that they look at it and say, if we push this thing off for a couple of days, we might be able to keep player X. It's crazy, but anywhere you can find an advantage in holding on to one of these players that you may need, that's a way you can do it. It's not probably the best idea because you want to get CD in and get into this work and stuff. And it would be nice for Cowboy fans for you to actually have done some work and feel, okay, there's a plan here. We got something done. At least if you're not going to get CeeDee Lamb signed anytime soon, at least maybe there's something good that comes from it and you'll be able to hold on to a player that becomes a star down the road. But, yeah, it's going to get interesting on Tuesday to see who makes the cut, who gets let go, and who gets brought back. Alrighty, good people, as always, I appreciate y'all. There's no new news on CeeDee Lamb. Only speculation from the talking heads of, they'll get it done before the season starts, that it'll be less than Justin Jefferson's, slightly less and so on, and CD supposedly turned down the $32 million deal. It's going to be what it's going to be, and that's what it's going to be. Peace.